Hello people, today I'm reviewing Sarisa Precision MDF terrain from their 15mm World Tour Europe range. The kits I review are the ones suitable to represent the houses in Normandy. They are the small house, both single and two-story versions, the farmhouse, large and regular version. I got two of the regular sized farmhouses. All of these buildings are the intact version since I want them to represent the occasional houses found in the rural parts of Normandy, so they are painted cleanly with no weathering. As a bonus, I also got the 15mm single arch bridge, originally designed for their North American range, but usable for Normandy also. Now let's get on with how I do the assembly and painting. The terrain was sent in flat pack like this. There's a manual inside, but it's using the graphic for their 28mm kit. There are some detail differences, but the most important one is the different number of chimney parts. The pictures show 3 additional parts, while the actual kit only uses 2 per chimney. The kit uses 2mm MDF, front and back. This is part for bottom floor, top floor, chimneys, and finally the roofs. Then additional detail for doors and windows from 1mm grey board. Starting with the bottom floor, the kit is easy to work on due to its precise cutting. The attachment parts are really thin. After cutting, dry fit the wall with the floor, so it's not upside down. Also make sure the cracks on the wall face outside. Assemble the front and back wall to one of the side walls. When assembling, pay special attention to this part. It's very thin and only made of 2mm MDF. If you have to push it, push near the pegs, not from the other end. Then attach the other side wall, tie them up. Sometimes because the slots are very tight, a layer of the MDF can be pushed out and must be trimmed with knife. Because I wasn't careful enough, parts of the details were also pushed out. Then continue with the top floor. Same process. Front wall and back wall on the side wall, and then the other side wall. Stick it to the floor. Make sure you don't put the walls upside down. Now cut out the roof and chimneys. I don't assemble this right away because I want to spray paint them later. For the chimney, put on the topper. This part must be done very carefully because it's very fragile. Use PVA to thicken the chimneys. The building stands alright unglued, but I use PVA on some of the corners between the walls and the floors. I put the top floor on top of the bottom floor while the glue was drying so the pegs will match the slots. Make sure you're not gluing the top floor and the bottom floor together. Also, I usually trim these pegs on the chimney because the slots are so tight. If I force it, I could have pushed these fine roof details from the bottom. One of the best parts of this kit are these windows and doors details. I usually paint them separately with acrylics. I use Army Painter Monster Brown as base color, but you can use any light brown. I then use Benchy Brown for highlight. Midway I changed my mind. The bottom windows will have green shutters using Angels Green and Army Green. I get on with spray painting the model with three main colors: off-white for the walls, gray for the chimneys, and red for the roofs. I begin the assembly of the roof. This part should be assembled last because it has the roof's ridge. After roof finished assembly is touched up with acrylic paint. I add off-white accent to the chimneys. Because it's a light color, it takes a lot of time to cover fully. I touch up the edges of the house and also the connection holes. I paint the bricks with gray and also the edges of the floors for accent. The window grills are painted the same manner as the shutters. Because the house is light colored and the grills are darker, I also paint the sides of the grills, windows, and doors. This prevents the bright off-white to punch out to onlookers between darker colored doors and windows. I use a Sharpie pen to emphasize the cracks and also add shadows. I usually use gray for this off-white color, but this time I tried using silver one because it just flows better. I just hope the final spray will dull it. I did the same thing with the roofs, this time with brown Sharpie. Cut out the windows and door parts. Be careful, these are quite fragile. But even if something broken, it's not a problem since you can glue the loose part. Using PVA, I glue the inside part of the doors first, then the windows, and finally the door's frame. Assembling both floors to see how it looks. As you can see, I managed to mess up the windows and doors, but that's easily fixed. So here they are. I finished by spraying them with matte varnish. All these houses can fit 2 flames of dwarf medium bases on each floor. Here you can see the inside part is not so pretty because of the door grey board. Another thing with these kits is you cannot easily change the 2-story house into 1-story house. Using top floor as the bottom floor doesn't work because top floor doesn't have doors. They all have the standard depth of 7 centimeters, so you can bed them together to create row houses. The only exception is these smaller houses, which have a window on the side walls. While they are small, they still fit the same amount of bases. Because 2 of the smaller houses are of the same length, the roofs are interchangeable. Obviously, the roofs and floors from the small farmhouses are also interchangeable. The bigger farmhouse has divider walls inside, which also strengthen the model. Just be careful when assembling them. I put them wrong the first time, and when correcting it, broke one of the thin door arches. You can see the broken part here, but it's not visible when stacked. This one also has a signage. I wasn't sure what to write there, so I googled random farm name, print to size, and glue the print out there. For some of the houses, I added 1mm round pla beam to simulate the drain pipes. The bridge was simple to assemble. I also need to tin the pegs and even use a hammer gently of course during assembly. It has additional details using greyboard. After assembled, I use PVA glue to put sand on all its surface before painting, and then I add some vegetations. Despite having some assembly issues, I think these are great terrain kits. They look beautiful with that extra bits of details. Granted, they are not the cheapest MDF terrain round, but they're not really that expensive either. If you are looking for great looking kits for your Normandy games, I think these are a great fit. Thanks for watching. See ya.